Hello, dear members of the India Bulls Greens Panvel. I hold a flat in 8G1 706, and I have been fighting tooth and nail against the builder on main two grounds is the delayed possession and the facilities promised facilities not been provided to us, mainly related to the club moss. I have with me my very honored advocate lawyer, Mr. Satish Dedia, who has been successfully fighting the case against the builders in the appellate, wherein he has been able to get me the delayed possession interest, which has been denied to almost all the applicants who have gone against the builder in case of India Bulls Greens. Now, against the appeal which was made against the order released by the appellate, the builder went on to the High Court, wherein the High Court directed the builder to offer me possession without taking the possession related amounts, which was made mandatory to give possession. Builder was not even allowing me to see my own rightful apartment because I was not paying the possession amount payable on the possession, which we are actually fighting, which is supposed to be not legal as per my honorable friend's lawyer Satish Dedia. I would leave Satish to actually explain what all are the areas wherein we as a consumer have a right to fight against the builder and not pay the charges as claimed by them. And so he would possibly throw more light on it. I'll ask Satish to talk more about what he can do for us, benefiting us financially, and also in principles fight against a very corrupt builder. Over to Satish Dedia.
Uh, Hello friends, Mr. Sridhar is a very courageous person and had faith and trust me and believed me that he will get justice if he continue to fight against the builder. And ultimately, uh, Honorable High Court has given him justice on 10th of January 2020 and considered our submissions that the builder is not entitled to claim the other charges or possession charges like clubhouse charges, electricity and
Water, sewerage,
water sewerage charges, maintenance deposits,
society formation.
society formation charges, legal charges, and infrastructure charges, and so on. And even Honorable High Court directed the developer to hand over the possession of the flat immediately on next day to Mr. Sridhar within a time limit of 24 hours, and builder was compelled to hand over the possession without uh, receiving those amounts, and that claim is still pending of the builder against Mr. Sridhar. And in that constant, uh, it was discussed that this issue is being faced by almost all the flat purchasers of India Greens, and he requested me to uh, give some explanation on the issue, how we can deal with that issue. So Mr. Sridhar will raise some questions and I will answer those questions one by one.
First is whether the builder can appoint any maintenance company to run the complex or society and recover the maintenance charges from us.
Uh, See, in your agreement, builder has inserted a clause at page 23 under clause number 5K. Under that clause, builder has retained a right to appoint an agency and nominate an agency who will administer the common areas and facilities of the layout, and in turn will charge the amounts from the builder, from the flat purchasers. This particular clause has been inserted with a view to retain control over and management of the entire layout and common areas, so that as and when builder requires certain changes in the layout or want to put up any additional construction, and with such view, he is appointing an agency in the name to look after the layout. However, as per section 17 of RERA, builder has to hand over the common areas and facilities immediately after receipt of occupation to the society of the flat purchasers. And in Mr. Sridhar's case, learned Chairman Maharera has directed the builder to form a society as back as 24th May 2018, and still the builder is avoiding to form the society. For formation of a society, a calling a general body meeting or calling a common meeting of a flat purchaser is must, and that step has been purposely avoided by this builder since last 2 and 3 years. Actually, this obligation has been due, in fact overdue, from the date July 2017 when the project was registered. Because as per RERA, as soon as 51% flats are booked, whether registered or not, the builder is liable to form a society of the flat purchasers. And since then, builder is avoiding to form the society only with a view to put up additional construction in the project and to make various changes in the project. And as an additional step, he is appointing maintenance agency, and the flat purchasers have to challenge that provision and refuse or do not allow the maintenance agencies personnel to enter into the complex and take over the management of the entire common areas and amenities from the builder. Either he directly gives us, or the flat purchasers take on those things on their own. So it is my view that builder cannot appoint or cannot impose a maintenance agency on the flat purchasers, because the purposes of objects of the law are getting defeated by way of on account of the appointment of the maintenance agency.
So that means this 24 months of advance maintenance, what they're claiming, that is legal, or is it supposed to be not right?
Uh, See, builder, now we will go through the various amounts demanded by the builder from the flat purchasers. Number one, as asked by Mr. Sridhar, 62,300 has been demanded at clause 4B towards the maintenance charges and other incidental charges for a period of 20 more months. So in this case, 62,300 are demanded from the flat purchaser by the builder. See, as per scheme of RERA, as soon as OC is obtained and as soon as the building is completed, builder has to hand over the common areas and affairs and management of the building and layout common areas to the common organization of the society, which is supposed to be formed as soon as 51% of the flats are booked. But in this case, builder wants to retain the management and control over the common areas, and for that purpose, he is demanding such amounts from the flat purchasers. So, if we go by the scheme of RERA, when builder is liable and it is mandatory obligation of the RERA of the promoter to hand over the affairs and common areas to the society, the question of paying maintenance deposit to the builder does not arise. Even if, for example, if his defense would be that part OC is only obtained and he has to complete the balance work. Suppose on that ground also, as per section 11D of RERA, he can recover the amount only as per the actual expenses that are to be incurred, and that amount should be, or that expenses should be reasonable. So in case if the 62,300 amount is, the question is that whether 62,300 is reasonable or not. And I learned from Mr. Sridhar that now that amount has been increased. Earlier he was charging the maintenance charges at ₹5 per square feet.
As per the agreement, it's two.
As two,
Now it's gone
then
to five.
5, and as of date 7.
The
So
post 7.
the builder wants to make profits even from such things, even a small things like of maintenance. So there is no end of grid of this builder, and the purpose is to retain control of over the management and common areas of the society of the layout. So if flat purchasers want to actually stop the builder from continuously changing the plans and actual having control over their building, then they should not pay such charges, and they should not entertain the maintenance agency, and instead should take over the maintenance of the entire layout and entire building in their hands.
Okay. And what about the other charges which are supposed to be claimed at the time of possession, like society formation charges, and you have sewage, electricity, water charges, and club moss mainly. What about those charges?
Yeah. See, in Mr. Sridhar's case, we argued before Honorable High Court that builder is demanding 62,300 in his case towards the water, electrical, and sewerage services. If we go through the law, there is no such provision that builder can claim separately such amounts from the flat purchasers. Even as per the application form signed by all of you or most of you at the time of booking of the flat, it is clearly mentioned and it is defined in the common areas. Uh, a the detailed common area definition has been given in the application form, and according to that, and even as per the provisions of the agreement under the MOFA or RERA, the common price for the common areas has been included in the price of the flat. Almost of you have purchased the flat on super built-up area basis. It means that around 60 to 65% of the price has been paid for the flat carpet area, and the remaining has been paid for the common areas. So when we have already paid 35 to 40% for the common areas, which includes such facilities like water and sewerage and electricity or so on, then why we should pay separate amount again at the time of possession when we have already paid those amount to the builder. So logically as well as legally, builder is not entitled to claim such amounts from the flat purchaser as per my view.
So maybe that's the reason the Honorable High Court asked the builder to give me the possession without claiming any of the possession amount.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. In his case, Honorable High Court specifically allowed and directed the builder to hand over the possession without insisting for payment of such payment amounts, and remanded back the matter to Honorable Tribunal with a direction to decide this issue in accordance with law. And our case is that if builder is not entitled to claim such amounts legally, no authority or no court can compel us or direct the flat purchasers to pay such amounts to the builder.
So builder is, as per you, the builder is not entitled to claim, demand, or recover these amounts from us, right?
Correct.
So in that case, how should the purchasers approach this? In the sense, can they file a complaint singly or collectively, since they already paid this amount to the builder now?
Correct. One more point. The builder has also demanded a sum of rupees 10,000 for formation of society or federation. If we calculate, uh, keeping apart the legal point, the charges for formation of society is not rupees 10,000 per member. It can be hardly 200 to 300 rupees per member, because considering the number of flat purchasers in your society or in your layout, the cost will be spread over the members, and so the ultimate cost will be divided among all the flat purchasers, and it cannot be more than 200 or 300 per member, which includes stationery charges and the consultation charges. There is no amount or deposit or charges or premium payable to the government or any other authority for formation of society. So question of demanding and question of flat purchaser paying amount as high as rupees 10,000 per member for formation of society does not arise. Even as per the section 11D of the RERA, builder can charge amounts only on a reasonable basis, and that only for the necessities. In this case, the formation of society is a statutory obligation of the builder as per section 4, 11, 4E, as well as section 10 and 11 of MOFA. And so, why as a flat purchaser one should pay separate charges to the builder for a obligation which is his statutory obligation, which he should discharge without charging additional amount. We, we have already paid him as per the market value at the time of booking, and that still on the super built up area basis. And why the question will arise that separate payment of charges can be demanded from the flat purchasers for formation of society. So this amount actually utilized by the builder for making corruption, to make payment of to the officers and other authorities to prolong the formation of society and such issues, and to allow them to make changes in the layout one after another at the cost of the flat purchasers. And we flat purchasers are paying for that, like rupees 10,000 per member. In case of bigger flats, it would be a higher amount. So if you calculate this amount as an aggregate amount for entire society or as a layout, then you will realize that this is totally unreasonable and unfair demand by the builder, and therefore builder cannot enforce this provision against the flat purchasers and cannot compel, and no court or no authority can direct the flat purchasers to pay such an high amount for formation of society, which is an statutory mandatory obligation of the promoter. And similarly, clubhouse membership charges. The other amount is clubhouse membership fees. In case of Mr. Sridhar, at Maharera level also, learned chairman has directed that builders should not demand this amount until he has provided this facility to the flat purchasers. In your case, clubhouse has been cancelled. Club boss, specifically club boss, has been cancelled, and it is our case in our matter, that clubhouse, there is no provision in the approved plan regarding the club boss. So question of paying clubhouse charges does not arise. And therefore, even our case, Honorable High Court has accepted our submission that when the clubhouse is not provided and there is specific direction of Maharera that he cannot demand such charges from me, how can now at this stage I will pay clubhouse charges to the developer for as a condition for handing over possession to me? And Honorable High Court rightly accepted our submission and directed the builder to hand over the possession without demanding such amount. So all these amounts are in aggregate will be around more than 2.5 lakh. So in your layout, if every flat purchaser has paid amount of 2.5 lakh or more to the flat purchaser, then they can realize how, to what extent the builder has exploited you, how, to what extent the builder's greed is builder's greed is unending, and therefore as a just as a rightful person, every person or every allottee, every flat purchaser should oppose such illegal demands or illegal payments. And in case you have already paid, then as per section 5 of MOFA, you can ask the builder to deposit all such amounts in a separate account and seek accounts from the builder and give details of each and every penny where he has spent this amount. If you will calculate and analyze, he has not formed the society, and as discussed, all other charges for the water connection, infrastructure charges, sewerage charges are his duty, so that amount has to be reimbursed. He has not provided you any legal charges, so question of paying legal charges to the builder does not arise. So all of these amounts are to be refunded to the flat purchasers, and the flat purchasers can claim and ask the builder to refund this amount along with interest to the uh, flat purchases or their organization. So next question of Mr. Sridhar was whether you can claim it by filing single complaint or separate complaint. If your organization is already formed, then you can file a single complaint for claiming refund of these amounts. Or in case organization is not formed, we have alternative option of either form the cooperative society under non-cooperation option, or you can even form a association with the charity commissioner, which will take around 1 to 2 months a procedure, and it is a simpler procedure to form an association. And if that entity is registered, then single complaint can be filed for these issues, because these are the common issues.
Good. So I think for whatever sufferings we have all gone through, and the builder claiming unreasonable amounts for our hard-earned money and have to wait for our rightful asset for such a long time, I think it's about time that we all should collectively fight it out against the builder and claim these amounts which are supposed to be not legally chargeable by the builder onto us as rightful purchasers. So this short video has been made specifically with respect to giving you a brief, because we had a appellate date today and we just finished our hearing just now, and the builder has been successful in demanding one more date, which is just going to be after 3 days. But we are sure that our fight is going to be heard justifiably by the honorable appellate, and the justice will be done to me in every way. And I want the justice to percolate across to every member who's there, who has been suffering from this Indiabulls, practices. So I think most of the some of the issues like defective work also is there. Like a lot of members have complained that their doors are coming out and the commode is falling down, and what is the recourse available with members for such issues?
Under section 14 of RERA, 14.3 of RERA, the builder's defective liability is for 5 years from the date of occupation certificate or possession given to the flat purchasers. There is a rider that if the flat purchasers has carried out any unauthorized changes, then in that event the liability of the builder will be reduced to that extent. Otherwise, in all other cases, if there is a defective work, then the flat purchaser should properly photograph it, videograph it, and they made a complaint to the builder to rectify these defects within a reasonable period, or else seek compensation for such defects in the work. And if builder is not accepting or ignoring your demands, which are reasonable and genuine concern, then in that case you can include those points in your complaint also for redressal of grievances regarding the defective work, and you can seek additional compensation for this issue also in the complaint itself. One more point that in your layout we can take up is the builder has, if the case of old purchasers like Mr. Sridhar is concerned, the flat was booked in the year 2009 September. At that time, FSI was permissible of 2.20 only, and subsequently the builder has increased the FSI from 0.20 to 1 to then 2 and 3 and 4. Ultimately, the gross FSI which builder, as per your occupation certificate of 11th May 2018, is of 4 FSI. So this was possible only by delaying the project in one or the other way, and thereby got the FSI benefits. However, as per law, all the FSI that has been increased subsequently after sale of the flat is belong to the flat purchasers, flat purchasers common organization, or individual flat purchasers will be entitled to that increased FSI as per proportion of his share. So in your case, wherever the flats are sold prior to 2013 or even before, then all those flat purchasers can seek additional compensation for use of additional FSI by the builder without taking your prior consent. And in this case, the builder's defense will be that he has already obtained consent in the agreement. It will be his defense that the builder, the flat purchasers have waived their right by signing the agreement. In that case, there is already an High Court judgment and Supreme Court judgment that such consents will be illegal, and blanket consents will be considered as a blanket consent. And such blanket consents are not binding on the flat purchasers, because when you have sold the flat to me, the total floors were 15 floors only, and the common areas, facilities, and all such things were to be shared by the flat purchasers for 15 floors only. Subsequently, you have raised the floors of the building from 15 to 38. However, there is no proportionate increase in common areas. In fact, in your case, the common areas has been reduced from 12%. Mandatory limit was 12%, and it has been reduced from 12% to 8%. So there is double loss to you. So now you all are sharing the same common areas, again reduced common areas, with higher number of flat purchasers as compared to what was promised to you, what was sold to you at the time of sale of the flat. And this is a breach of contract that was entered by you, on basis of which you have purchased the flat by relying upon the brochure or amenities of the flat promised by the builder. So this is a clear breach, and the consents mentioned in the agreement will not be valid consents. Even if builder has obtained consent at the time of possession, then such consents, if not a specific consent, then also it will be illegal and not binding on you. And for this reason, you can claim additional compensation for additional construction put up by the flat purchaser, put up by the promoter without prior specific written consent of the flat purchasers, as per section 7 of MOFA and as per section 14 of RERA. The builder's another defense is that he has not carried out any amendment after entering into agreement. He is wrong. He has, at the time of agreement, in case of Mr. Sridhar specifically, and there will be many other cases, the agreement was executed in the year 2011, and subsequently builder has increased the floor from 33 to 37 in the year 2013 and 2014, as per the approved plans visible on the CIDCO website or on the MARERA website. So builder has amended the plans even after executing the agreement, and we have to compare which amenities has been provided and which was promised at the time of sale of the flat. And if we compare, you will find that almost 50 to 60% amenities are not provided by the builder, and we can definitely seek compensation from the builder for such illegalities and for such contravention and such violation.
I think apart from the normal, the brochure was talking about, school and hospital and, shopping malls and, of course, apart from the club malls. So I think most of us booked it because we thought it is supposed to be a well-contained housing complex, which all the facilities available to, members who have purchased the apartment like this. But unfortunately, these I don't think so is ever going to come in their scheme of plans. Is there in the scheme of plans these kind of facilities like hospitals and have they provided for such spaces?
See, there are two type of amenities. One type of amenities are which are part of your layout and basic necessities, and which are promised as part of common areas and amenities. There are other amenities also which are part of your brochure or scheme, but they are in form of a specific premises like commercial premises, theaters, and so on. So there we have to differentiate between this type of amenities. If we go through your brochure, which starts with, this is our brochure, which starts with a word nothing less, and if we go through the entire brochure, only one thing I will show. This is the middle page. Here here is the car. If you compare this car with the remaining portion. The builder want to make an impression to the flat purchasers at that time that there will be a lot of greenery and there will be a lot of amenities like this or this or this type of amenities. There is, and we can show to the courts that such amenities are not yet provided by the builder. The technical question that will be taken up by the builder as a defense that you have already occupied the flat, you have already taken out your possession of the flat, so your complaint will not be maintainable. This will be the question, first question raised by the builder. But we have proper defense against such kind of defenses, false defenses of the builder. But one thing is sure that you may not get justice at first level, but you have to contest up to second level, that is called appeal level, and only then there is a surety of success in your case, because there is difference of opinions among members of Maharera at first level. There are other chances like what happened in the case of India Bulls Green, that most of the complaints were dismissed on one or the other grounds, though incorrect, though wrong, though several judgments are on record prior to that such orders, and all such orders were ignored by Maharera's officers, particularly Mr. Chairman Gautam Chatterjee. And we can talk so much on that topic, but the question is that you have to contest up to two levels to get justice, and there are facts in your support of your case that you can definitely get justice on these grounds. And builder has yet not obtained full occupation certificate. Builder has admittedly not obtained building completion certificate. So in your case, the building is still incomplete, and the liability builder has obtained, or we can say that he has managed to obtain part occupation certificate from the authorities just to curtail its liability under section 18 for the delay period, which was a major liability. And for that reason, he has somehow managed to obtain part occupation certificate without completing the remaining work, and handed over possession to you and put you in the possession of the flat, so that his liability and can be restricted and he can escape or he can avoid the other liabilities. But if we see the things minutely and apply the applicable laws and judgments, definitely there is a case in favor of the flat purchasers that even at this stage, even after occupying the flat, they can definitely seek compensation for all these things.
I think by and large, these are the main queries which I think all of us have in common. There could be some more, I guess, which we can possibly address by way of a separate Zoom call or something, wherein we could, maybe we can take specific questions and maybe address those specifically with numbers. So I think this is just a small information video we felt we should make, and for our own benefit, so that you start thinking in these lines. And we have been fighting tooth and nail to get the society formed. Also, let us fight tooth and nail to get back the amounts which these builders, which India Bulls Greens has collected from us, which is our rightful demand, which could be claimed back even if we have paid it to them. So, thank you for having the patience to listen to this and view this. If you are interested to get in touch with Advocate Satish Dedia, then you could give your number to him, or your mail ID, or maybe we could can get in touch with me. I can share his contact details. So, thank you, and have a nice day.
One last suggestion I would make, that you are going to have a common meeting on 5th of December.
No, 8th of December.
8th of December.
JBM,
and I would suggest that ignore the points like 14 days notice and all such. Please attend that meeting and get united because unless you unite, you will not get success, you will not get justice from such a builder. And I will suggest all the flat purchasers to keep aside their individual views or their individual points for a moment, and do not uh, put such things that affect your unity and that affect your collective bargaining. And you should unite first. You should waste no opportunity to get united and form the society as much as early as possible. Either either exercising any option, either no cooperation or by formation of association, or there may be other alternatives. And even in our case also there is alternative available, that we can approach Maharaja to form the society, because already in several matters direction has been given to the builder. So there are several options available before the flat purchasers, but only thing that is lacking is unity and getting
Together.
united
Yeah.
by the flat purchasers. So all of you are shall meet on the next meeting. This is my humble submission, and thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Sridhar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you.